All right, what is up, everybody? Back again for another video. In today's video, guys, going to be discussing some more potential casting news for the upcoming sequel to the 1995 film Heat. And per Deadline and other sources, we're hearing that Christian Bale, the great Christian Bale, is circling a role for the sequel to the 1995 film. You know, with him potentially circling this could join him with fellow Oscar winner Leonardo DiCaprio. And like I said, Bale's casting along with DiCaprio will definitely bring gravitas to this film, the same, bit of gravitas that we saw in the first film. This also reunites Bale with director Michael Mann. The two worked together on the film Public Enemies. Public Enemies I thought was a good movie, but, it wasn't as big or well received as most people thought it would be, but I thought it was a good film. Now, if you don't know, and I've talked about this in other films or other videos, so I'll try to keep this as brief as possible, but this film, the sequel, is based off a novel. It jumps between two time periods. The first follows Chris Hurlis. If you know, Chris Hurlis was Val Kilmer's character, as he evades Vincent Hanna, who was played by Al Pacino. And this takes Sir Hurlis all the way to Southeast Asia. And then the second storyline takes place 7 years prior to the first film. So that would be roughly, I believe, 1988. And, this follows Macaulay, which was De Niro's character, and Sir Hurlis and the crew as they take down scores on the West Coast, U.S.-Mexican border, and Chicago. While at the same time, Hanna is cutting his teeth as a rising star in the Chicago PD. And he's chasing an ultra-violent gang of home invaders. So other potential castings that we have seen, and I've done videos on, is the potential for Austin Butler, Oscar Isaacs, and Adam Driver. Now, I think Austin Butler is he's probably for sure going to get cast because he looks like he could play Chris Hurlis. He looks like he could play a version of Val Kilmer, what age Val Kilmer would be during the time period of the events following Heat when he's on the run. Oscar Isaac, he could play a younger version of De Niro. Adam Driver, they're saying he potentially could play Vincent Hanna, the younger version of Vincent Hanna. But then you have to ask yourself, if these guys are who they're saying playing, De Niro and Pacino, well, who could DiCaprio and who could Christian Bale play? Now, there is a character who Chris works for in Southeast Asia, kind of like a drug crime lord, where he could potentially play one of those characters, one of the two, or the person who Vincent Hanna is hunting, who's leading the ultra-violent gang. They could play one of those characters. So the potential's there for like I said, for this to be a great ensemble if they're able to get all these guys, which, hey, in a perfect world, I would love for them to. It's just a matter of how big each, is DiCaprio and Bale, are they going to be the big stars, or is this going to be a vehicle that's going to be led by Austin Butler, Oscar Isaac, and Adam Driver, which I believe Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver have the potential. They could do it. No doubt in my mind. Austin Butler, we'll see. But, kind of wrapping this up because, I don't want to keep this too long. And there, like I said, there's not a whole lot. This is just speculation, but it sounded like this is what we're getting. I'm on board with this. Michael Mann does pretty well with ensemble cast, and so it's just one of those. Does it have your attention? And for me, it does. We have Michael Mann behind the camera and the stars that we have out in front. I think it's a great recipe for a great film. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. Get in the comments and tell me what you think with Leonardo DiCaprio and then with Christian Bale. I mean, do we got an automatic hit right here? Because my worry is how they're used. Potentially, I don't want them to be wasted. Like, I don't want Christian Bale to be wasted. Like, they tried to bring him on to Marvel, wasted him in that god-awful Thor movie. But I don't think Michael Mann will make that same choice, or make that same mistake and misuse him. But yeah, this is definitely got things percolating. Like, hey, man, you know, what are we gonna do here? But I do worry, like the bouncing timelines. Like, it's been done successfully. Like, I mean, you look at The Godfather 2, one of the greatest movies ever made, and they had two storylines or two time periods going at the same time in one film. So it'll be interesting how they do that. That means this movie's got to be at least 3 hours long. It has to be at least 3 hours long for something like that. Or I don't know. What I probably would have done is maybe made the movie with the one that takes place in 88. I would have made that a film on its own. And then if that was successful, then I would have made the other movie, you know, with Chris on the Run. But it's very, this is very high risk to do it that way, because I think a lot of times when it comes to movies, a lot of moviegoers are people, they don't have the attention span. It's the whole streaming culture that we have, where you're able to stop something and you can come back and watch it later or on the run. But to sit and digest a movie, because like a lot of it, yeah, there was action in there, but it was also a character study as well in there. And I don't know. I think it will be a good movie. It may end up something like Public Enemy, where it doesn't get the reception that you would think it would have got, what it would get, you know. Or is Michael Mann, is he over the hill? You know, because I think Michael Mann is late 70s. He may be 80, but is he over the hill? I'm not trying to do no ageism or something, but there comes a time where, you know, our best times have passed us by. And that's the thing. Like, we saw what happened with Francis Ford Coppola in his last one. The movie, like, basically, I think they said it like bankrupted him. I don't think something like that's going to happen to Michael Mann, but I just think, you know, there may be where you get it may have passed him by. But at the same time, like I said, two things can be right. Two things can be true, because I'm saying this, but at the same time, George Miller, you know, was around that same age. Marty Scorsese, these guys are still knocking it out of the park. So the potential is still there for him to pull that off, to pull this off. But I think with the modern audiences, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I'm on board with this. I want it to be successful. And yeah, just to wrap this up, guys, tell me what you think about this. Is this good news? I would hope so with these castings, but I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and punch out. Guys, like I always say, if it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes of the whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view my content. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe, smash the like. And once again, get in the comments. Tell me what you think about this news, this potential of Christian Bale, Leo DiCaprio on the same screen together. The other gentlemen I named, Austin Butler, Oscar Isaac, and Adam Driver, all coming together. Now, these other three castings, I don't know. They're not necessarily official. I think the Austin Butler one, I think he's on board, but I think he's also on board to do the Miami Vice, potentially do the Miami Vice prequel. So who knows? Like I said, I think these three are just kind of rumored, or they may have been brought in or offered. But I think DiCaprio, and if Christian Bale accepts, those are the two for certain, I think. But so yeah, guys. Yeah, let me get out of here. I'm still rambling. But guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.